Hey everybody, Steve Ritter here. I'm solo. The ravishing Mrs. Ritter and Bella are out shopping, getting everything ready for her college trip. Won't be long now, so I figured I'd try to wean myself into get ready to do these by myself. But you know, I entertain myself most days, so I entertain you. Real simple video today. I had some mushrooms that we gotten the other day. Really can't figure out what to do with them, so I'm just going to saute them up with a little bit of parsley and butter. I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you my technique for doing that. Real easy. Set them aside. Have them for dinner tonight, or maybe have them in an omelet tomorrow is probably what I'll do, because the ravishing Mrs. Ritter does like her omelets, and I'm the man to make them. So we'll probably do that. But I make them ahead of time, and I put them and store them in the refrigerator, and they're nice and good. So again, I appreciate all the comments all the time and everything. They really mean a lot. I got your input from a couple of videos ago about the intros and everything else. So we'll keep mixing things up. So today, it's the intro is boring. So. Anyway, I'm going to go readjust the camera here and kind of show you. So in the meantime, I'm going to start. I got my cast iron pan here, and I'm going to go ahead and start heating that up and warming the butter up. And now the thing, one of the techniques, my technique with mushrooms is just like eggs, cook them slow. So let me readjust the camera. I'll be right back, and we'll show you how I do it. All right, so we're back, got everything reset. So I put half a stick of salted butter in a pan. I've got it on medium, probably medium heat, nice and slow. So the butter's all good and melted, pan's warm. I took my mushrooms and I washed them out real good. These are pre-sliced. This is an 8-ounce container of Baby Bella mushrooms. Is that what they're called? Yeah, how about that? Baby Bella mushrooms. So maybe I should have made this with the Bella's special chicken, I guess, huh? So I'm going to put these in so you can see they don't, the skillet's big enough so it doesn't take up the whole pan. And then I just want to evenly spread these out. Now, just like with eggs, I mean, you gotta be patient. Now, if you're on a time crunch and you gotta hurry up and saute some mushrooms, then I don't know what to tell you. But if you take it slow, it'll pay off. And one thing, it's kind of like grilling meat. My technique, and I've kind of picked this up over the years, and my wife showed me this actually. And my son, my oldest boy, is one of the secrets is just you saute them and you don't flip them a lot. So because you want to leave them and cook them on one side, and you really get the a little bit more of the sear, not sear, that's the word I'm looking for. It browns up nicer. Just don't flip it a lot. So it's kind of like grilling meat. You don't want to flip it too many times. Same kind of deal. I guess it is kind of a sear. Kind of keeps the flavor in. But you can see, that's the thing with mushrooms, if you haven't sauteed them very much, there's a lot of water in them, and it'll slowly cook out, and the mushrooms will shrink up. So you don't need a whole lot of liquid with these. I put a lot of butter in here because I like butter. It's kind of hard to put too much butter, although I guess it's possible. But try to get them flat in the pan here. Now I've got, I went out in my front yard and the porch there, and I got some fresh Italian parsley and chopped it up. Now I'm going to drop that in the last few minutes or so with it. So you can see it's got a nice little bubble going. You don't want to flash fry them. I guess if you were going to stir fry veggies, then you would, but we'll kind of cook this slow and see how it goes. So, summer's chugging along here in South Carolina. It's pretty hot out there. getting ready to, like I said, Bella's getting ready and shopping for school and for her dorm room. So she's actually gonna in-person classes, which is nice. I guess a lot of colleges are delaying the coming back or doing classes online. So I don't know. Ooh, smelling that's nice. Now it's got the nice earthy mushroom smell. Not when we were stationed in Germany. There was a guy that would ride the duty bus into work. Lived in our little neighborhood. He said his grandfather taught him how to go mushroom hunting out in the woods, and I guess that's a dying skill. I guess a lot more people used to know about that, but you know, I'm pretty nervous about mushrooms and picking them out in the wild because I don't know enough about it. I guess if you had a grandpa that could teach you and show you that kind of stuff, well, that'd be something different. But and in fact, for Christmas this past year, Bella got me a like one of those home kit mushroom kits where you tear it open and the box and on the side, and it's been what's the word, inoculated with mushroom spores. When you wet it and you put it in a cool dark place and they start sprouting, and they did, and I actually used them to cook a little bit. They were oyster mushrooms, pretty tasty. These are just, I don't know what these kind of are, button mushrooms, I guess. Little Bella mushrooms is the brand, I guess, but and they're mighty tasty. So, but anyway, the guy in Germany, he came in one day and he had found a mushroom out in the woods and was taking it in for his lunch for work. And I'm like, how do you know that's, you know, a good mushroom? And he's like, well, my grandfather told me. So, and then we also went on a trip one time in the summer when I was stationed in Germany in Stuttgart. So it was all of us. We had all the kids with us, and all 6 of us, and we drove over to the Loire Valley in France, and which is south of Paris, and along the Loire River, and that's where a lot of the royalty had their chateaus. So there's a lot of chateaus out there. My favorite's it's called Chenonceau. That's the one that's over the river. You see in a lot of the pictures. But anyway, we did a lot of touring around there and drove out to Saint Michel, the medieval town up on the little mountain out in the water. So whenever the tide goes out, there's a way to get over there, and when it comes in, it kind of covers the road, which is really cool. But there was a place there. Of course, we always traveled with our Rick Steves guide, and which is just it's a book. So if you ever travel, going to Europe or anything, I highly recommend it, because we took that book. He had books for different countries and everything else, and his big thing is traveling, getting off the beaten path. I mean, obviously you got to see the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe and Big Ben and all that stuff, but he also was good on like little off the beaten path type places. And we found one that was like a cave, mushrooms. It had been a cave that grew mushrooms for the longest time. And we're like, okay, let's go check it out. And this was on that Loire Valley trip. And we went there, and his big thing was, okay, yeah, the tour's okay, but they had mushroom dishes at the end, little container of mushrooms that were just to die for, he said. So we were all, of course, I love mushrooms, and we're all pretty fired up about it. And we go through the tour, and it was kind of ho-hum, and then the restaurant at the end was closed. I'm like, hey, man. So, but that was a cool trip. All the chateaus, and one in particular I remember that was known for its gardens, and they had all around the manicured, beautiful gardens. The shaped bushes and all the stuff that you see in a lot of the period movies and all of that. Just making sure I'm recording here. That would be pretty bad if I had to repeat all this. And around the garden, of the border was it looked like a bush, and it was about yay high. And I'm looking at it, and there were pears on it. And what it was a pear tree that had been trained it came up about that far out of the ground, and then went off to the side. And it was a pear tree, and they call it esplanade, I think is what the term is, where they train the trees to grow on the side of walls, usually is what they do. And you see a lot of that in Belgium and Holland, because it's a little cooler there. And they'll train those fruit trees to grow up on the side of stone walls. And what the idea is, like south-facing stone walls, because the idea is that the sun comes up what there is, and it heats the stone up, and then it keeps heat longer on the trees. It's kind of like a little outdoor greenhouse kind of setup. But this particular pear tree had been cut down low. Had been trained low, and so it grew outward for 20 feet either side of the trunk, coming up out of the ground, and there were all the way around the thing, and there were pears all on the tree down low. I always thought that was really cool. So that's one of my goals one day. Oh, this is really smelling good. Nothing like mushrooms, just sautéed nice and slow in butter like that. Now, I like butter. Some people, I definitely don't eat margarine. I used to, back in the early 90s when fat was the spawn of the devil, I would try margarine, trying to keep away from it because fat was evil. Well, it turns out now what they know now is that's not the case. Actually, fats like that in butter are actually pretty. Now see this right here? See this one that I just turned? See how golden brown that is? It's probably time to turn these now. I'll go ahead and flip these over. You can see that just golden brown, looking real good. I'm gonna go ahead and flip these over. But I mean, that's so I'm cooking them in butter, and butter tastes good. Everything tastes better in butter, right? Should make a t-shirt for that. It probably already is one, huh? But yeah, I really, one of these days I'd like to have a gentleman's farm and grow. So I'll probably do a little show and kind of talk to you about. I've done a lot of research, of course, sitting in the hotel with my job over in Abu Dhabi or India. Sitting there, really nothing to do. I would do a lot of research, and YouTube's great for that. Researching animals and different projects I want to try and different things I want to do, and I'll kind of go over some of my thoughts and ideas. And some of you that maybe have some of those animals or something, I certainly would welcome that. There's particular breeds of chickens and ducks that I'm looking at, and just kind of wondering if anybody has any experience with them. So just flipping these over nice and easy. We'll kind of get the other side too. So this is, some of you have mentioned, hey, this is kind of like coming over and watching the neighbor cook. Kind of prattling on here about this, but see how they kind of shrunk up, and there's plenty of butter on here. Probably more than I needed, so half a stick with 8 ounce. Maybe that was a little too much. Cooking it nice and slow. Now, if I have the heat up really hot, of course that would just steam right off, and you burn through that butter pretty quick. So that's an awful lot of butter. I might put some other veggies in this after I take these mushrooms out. Just to hate to see butter like this go to waste. But we'll let this side with the. We'll let this side cook a little bit. And the last few minutes or so, then we'll put the parsley in, and then that'll be it. It'll be done. So I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back here. It's getting on the tail end here. I think these are getting cooked up pretty good. Keep that heat down low. Don't want to scald the... Now, some people will use clarified butter or ghee, G-H-E-E. Some people call it, well, that's I guess it's technically the name. It's basically milk, butter with the milk fat removed, the stuff that scalds. I'm going to go ahead and put this, it's just probably a third to a half a cup of parsley. I don't know, I grabbed a handful and it looks about right. And it's good for you, so it doesn't overwhelm it. It's not like it's too oniony or anything else. So I'm going to just kind of put that in there. Let that kind of cook in with it. And obviously all of it's been washed and everything else. But this gives it a nice fresh taste to it. So we'll let that kind of cook down a little bit. And so again, what am I going to use these for? Good question. They smell good enough, I might just curl up with a bowl of them here, you know, and sit and watch TV and eat some mushrooms. But we kind of keep an eye on things in the fridge. If it looks like it's gonna go bad or expiration or something like that, then we'll do something with them. And you know, cooking it up like this or sautéing it will let you use them up, you know, and not have to waste them. I hate throwing food out. So these look done. Let me try one here. Yep. So I'm going to get a bowl, and you probably put a little bit of salt in them if you want. It's got salted butter. That's plenty fine. Don't need it. And I'm going to go ahead and take these out. I just got a bowl with some paper towel in it, just kind of dab some of the butter off. And so probably for that 8-ounce thing, I'd go with probably probably 3 tablespoons of butter instead of using what I used. I used half a stick, so that was a little too much. So it's all right. If there's such a thing, that's like saying girl's too pretty, right? Too much butter. Awesome. Let me try one. See what you think here. There they are. Looking good. Tasting good. All right. So that's sauteed mushrooms a la Steve. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time. Steve Ritter, the Colonel, signing off. Over and out. See you later.